What's up, fight fans, and welcome back to another UFC recap show. I am Garrett Kerman, and with me is my man Joe Danger, Jessie Hobson. What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going good. I'm over at my parents' house. I was watching the fights with them, and I had to step in the back room. As you can see, we got some swords over here. So
Nice.
taking a break from family time to talk with Garrett about some fights.
Oh man, what a fight card we had, bro. I mean, UFC London was electrifying from the fans to the fights to just, everything in between, everything before, everything after. It was a great spectacle. What are your thoughts on the entire week, the lead up to it, and the event itself?
Yeah, as I mentioned on the other show, I was kind of busy this week as far as like watching this stuff leading up to it. So a lot of that I was catching like, few and far between. What I did see, I really enjoyed. And UFC London has never really disappointed. We got Darren Till coming out, anytime that we get shows over in that area, typically the home team tries to show out. And this was no, exception. Like it was awesome. Like the fans were excited, which made me excited. You got guys coming out to like some white stripes, get Patty coming out to his like weird techno, weird collision of music. And yeah, it was fun. I mean, I talked about how boring Molly McCann was. It's like she tuned in and there was a fire lit under her, and it was just crazy to see everyone so excited. And being a fan, it made, like I said, made me that much more excited as well. um, Before I toss it back to you, the general consensus is that this is probably one of the best fight cards that wasn't a pay-per-view. And in recent times, I would have to agree. It had a little bit of everything. Obviously it had a ton of finishes. It had a couple decisions, which it was a lot of the ones we expected to be decisions. But yeah, the pacing was great. We called that, as well. The pay, like, as far as which ones were going to get knocked out, obviously there was more than we expected. But yeah, I'm ready to hang out with the fam, have some dinner, and continue my Saturday. Good times over in Houston.
Absolutely, man. I mean, we had a great night of fights. Actually, a great, afternoon of fights because it
Yeah.
was it was so early in the day that we're able to just, chill out, relax, maybe watch a little bit of March Madness, just hang out with the fam as well. So, I'm happy about that. Happy to have, our nights free. But this fight card was insane. Just watching it, getting the feel for it, you kind of felt like you were already there.
Yeah.
Even sitting on your couch, you just felt the energy. You got up. I was standing probably for the last like 5-6 hours. I didn't stand like sit down at all. I was standing watching the entire event, even when Molly McCann was fighting, and she came out guns blazing, like I kind of knew she would, just because
Yeah.
of how fired up she was. And I don't know, she looked composed and she looked the best that she ever has. But let's start actually looking at the prelims and what really stood out. Obviously, I would say the one of the biggest standouts was the UFC debut, Muhammad Makayev. He absolutely delivered on all levels. He hit Cody Durden with a flying knee to a insane guillotine choke where he got slammed and Durden got in side control, and he was still able to finish it. That was impressive. And I feel the sky's the limit for Makayev. How do you feel he's going to do, moving forward in the flyweight division?
Well, I mean, he was definitely, the price was right. Minus 380, I think, is where we stopped. But you know, outside of him being so in control, what I really liked was his walkout. This is not something we necessarily see from a guy that is, coming into their debut and the fans are cheering for him. Also, he's not from, the UK. So the fact that everyone was hyped and he had everyone behind him, not only just the casuals, he had all the people that were there early behind him. He had the commentary team behind him, and he had me behind him. You actually kind of sold him on me, and the more I looked into it, the more I liked him. But the way that he carried himself walking to the ring, You know, and it was the first fight of the night, and I was excited. Like, it was definitely a good pacing decision from the UFC to put him right up front. You know, obviously they tried to do that with Blood Diamond a few weeks ago, which was horrible. But you know, Jeremiah Wells is a fucking beast. But yeah, you know, Cody Durden didn't really get to showcase anything. Muhammad, I think that, you know, if he gets the right, you know, matchups, you know, we'll be talking about him quite a bit moving forward.
Yeah, I'm really high on Makayev. I was all about him way before he came into the UFC, and I knew the UFC needed to sign him only at like 4-0. I mean, the kid was legit. You know, he's only 21 years old. He's the youngest fighter on the entire roster, and he's got 23 wins as an amateur, and now he's got 7 wins as a professional. So he's got a lot of experience for someone so young, and he does have, you know, the potential to be a champion at the flyweight division. I mean, that division is really wide open. I feel like anybody can win.
Yeah.
You know, Davidson could be beat. Moreno could be beat. Anybody at the top can be beat. You know, no one's just a Mighty Mouse Johnson or Henry Cejudo. No one's that good, you know, at the top of the heap in the flyweight division. So I do think he has a chance to really, you know, sky up from here. And hopefully they give him, like, I would love to see a top 15 right off the bat. Don't slow roll this guy. Get him right in there with the top of the heap, and I really do think he can win a top 15 against a top 15 opponent, you know, very, very soon. You know?
Well, considering his history, you know, the amateur record, it is like you said, it is pretty astounding. But you know, at the same time, a lot of those guys that he beat, I mentioned this in the last video, a lot of those guys are repeat offenders. You know, they build up these records, pad them up. You know, the last few people he's beat looked like they had decent background. So, you know, Cody is probably the best person he's probably beat, but to beat him in such devastating fashion, make it look easy, you know, get me pumped, get everyone pumped, you know, for a fight that he's not even on home soil. Yeah, man, that was impressive. I'm officially a fan, and I would prefer to see the slow build up just so I can see more of them.
Right. I mean, that makes sense because you don't want him to go in there, go against the best and lose and be out. But
yeah,
I feel he, even at such a young age and being, I don't want to say inexperienced, but inexperienced as a professional, I just feel like he has the it factor. He, you know, he'll come forward, he'll throw wild strikes. He's got really good grappling. He's good in scrambles. He's got it. Yeah, he's it. You know, and we'll see what happens moving forward with him. But another fight I really want to talk about is this fight that I knew was going to be crazy right off the jump. Is in the light heavyweight division between Paul Craig and Nikita Krylov. What a fight! What a fight! You know, Krylov did what, you know, he was gonna do, and you know what we said he was gonna do, and he couldn't help himself but to take this man down.
Yep. Well,
he did exactly what we said he was gonna do.
He wanted that feather in his cap, and like even the commentary team was like, I think he's trying to like show Craig that he's not afraid. And I'm like, I told my dad, I'm like, man, that's a mistake. Like, I get it, they're both talented, man, but you're literally putting yourself in danger.
Right.
Only
takes seconds. Only takes seconds. Just one split second. Split second. That's all that happened. I'm like, this is crazy that he's literally willing to jump into his warehouse. He's like, okay, he's like, I'll do it. Sure, why not? But like, Craig's like, you can hit me. I've been hit hard. You're like, you're not going to hit me harder than Alonzo Menifield is hitting me, or, you know, Ankalaev is hitting me. He's like, I'm good. All I need is for you to make one little mistake, and that's exactly what he did.
Well, and I want to mention too, like, I never really thought there was an issue with Paul Craig's like hairline, but now it's like I'm never gonna go bald, but his widow's peak, it like suited his like style. Now the perfect line, like I feel like he's gonna go get a shape up, you know, on MLK Boulevard. Like I'm not really a fan of that, and it kind of makes him a little less intimidating. That could be me, but I'm like I don't know. I would rather see him die like maybe dye his skin blue than have done that with his hair. I'm still a fan. He's still intimidating to me, but just a little less because he cares about. He probably gets his nails done too. Like he's like, yeah, just do the white tips, and I'll be good. But yeah, it was exactly what we expected. I mean, we literally, like both of us. I put some money on the sub. But I know even inside the distance was a good play just because of how we got kind of fucked up, screwed over the last time.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, straight up, that's a good play. Inside the distance, Craig wants to finish the fight. Like that's just it. He looks for his openings and he makes me money.
And Paul Craig is still one of the most profitable fighters to ever bet on. Yep. He just continues to buck the trend here, people. And people were betting Krylov like, oh, yeah, this is cash money. I'm like, where, though?
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'm excited for Craig because I love the way he fights. He's very exciting. Win or lose, that man is never in a boring fight. And that's why I want to see him to keep winning because his jiu-jitsu is on point. And, he's got some power on the feet. He can take a punch or he can, get knocked out. Either way, it's going to be a fun fight.
Yeah, that's just it. It's like they put this fight on the card just because they knew it was going to be good, and we have it between Sergey's fight and Jake Shore's fight. So I mean, 3 solid fights in a row. Right. But yeah, it was almost like they put it in there because they knew it was going to be over quick, and the commentary team could go take a piss if they need to.
That's pretty much what happened, and it happened in the next fight as well between Sergey Pavlovich and Shamil Abdurakhimov.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He lost.
Yeah. Bro, like I was saying the entire fight, I'm like, bro, just throw the uppercut. Just throw the uppercut. Just do it. It's all you got to do is just lead uppercut, and he did it. I'm like, yes.
It was sneaky, too, though. It was like a weird I don't know what they call it because they called it something weird, and I was like, I'm sure they just pulled that out of their ass. But it was like a sneaky, like really close, like right. But it was beautiful. And like after that, dude, the ground and pound was special.
Yeah, that should have been called like almost immediately. Like he gave him the ref gave him Shamil way too much chances he wasn't doing anything but trying to hold on to a single.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was very upset if that was going to go to the second round because I had that first round finish. Mm-hmm. That first round finish was key there.
Yeah, especially I had him on my lineup, and then I also had for first round like you, and then I also had him in a parlay. But yeah, I don't know. I was very confident just based on, I didn't even have to see the names. I could just look at their records and just decipher, 41-year-old big head,
right.
versus big mitts, man. It's time. It's time.
It's time. It's a 41-year-old big head.
Yeah, that's what I don't know. I noticed that was like the biggest. I mean, and it's true. I found myself saying it while we were watching the fight. I was like, "Damn, that dude has a big ass noggin." Even my mom was like, "What's wrong with his head?" And I'm just like, "It's just big, and it's 41 years old." So
it's big. It's 41.
Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect target. I mean, you could probably throw a rock, from across the street and hit him in the back of the head. It is what it is, man. It's just tonight, Sergey had his number, and that's, I really don't see him coming back, Shamil, unless
no. That's 3 straight knockout losses. There's no way.
Yeah.
At 41 years old.
Yeah, the only way that it would be is if like they just needed, like if there was some heavyweight from Tuesday, from contenders, and they're like, yeah, give him the Shamil, or
give him the Shamil.
Yeah, and because he'll show up. I mean, he's for as big of a boy he is. Like I'm a big boy too, man. Like he looks good. Like it's just that his chin is not, but he's also fighting these dudes with big ass hands. So it is what it is.
All right, that's true. 41 big head versus Pavlovich's hands.
Big
mitts, knocked him out in the first round. That was impressive. And then, the Amir Khani,
Hey, back up, Jack.
What, Jack?
We're not we need to talk about Jack Shore because I know you're avoiding that fight because
I lost. Yeah.
If you remember correctly.
Yeah.
If you're keeping score at home, someone told me that Timur Valiev was the real deal.
Hey, but did I not say the reason why the way Shore's gonna win
Yeah,
is he's gonna knock him down. And he did. He knocked him
yeah,
down because Valiev he's just prone to getting knocked down. He doesn't get like seriously hurt, but he just gets knocked down. It's just like I don't know what happened. What's wrong with him? Maybe his chin just all busted and all that. But Short was impressive. But I thought the first 2 rounds were really, really close. Not to the point where like it shouldn't have been unanimous on the other side. I actually thought Valiev won the first 2 rounds, but given that the third round was as bad as it was and
yeah,
where he was fighting in, there was no possible way the judges were going to give him 2 rounds in the first 2 rounds. There's just no way. It's just the way it happens. That's not how judging works, but that's exactly how these judges judge fights. It's just
yeah.
how they do it. They forget, oh, what happened in rounds 1 and 2? This guy dominated round 3. Well, I think he kind of won round 1 or round 2. That's what they do. And especially if you're in another country, it's almost guaranteed this decision is definitely not going your way. Win or lose.
Yeah. So I went back and forth with this fight. I talked to you obviously. Because Jack is the one that came out to Seven Nation Army, and I thought that was a great walkout. I mean, he looked so hyped. The turning point for me was whenever he was on the ground and he just like got Indian style and then basically stood up with his arms around Valiev and took him took him to the fence. And it was weird. Like I've never seen anyone like, except Greg Hardy just get manhandled recently, but it was very similar to that. He just put his arms around him and basically just walked him over to the corner. But the way that he did it, just in like one motion, like he put his legs in Indian style and then just pushed himself up. And I was like, man, he's kind of doing whatever he wants. And then once I kind of like processed that, that's when it like obviously round 3 was a shit show. But it was like once I kind of saw that and processed it, I was like, damn, he's like kind of handling him at this point. It also seemed like Valiev wasn't really listening to his corner. Jack was, playing it very safe, but also, reading the fight very well. So, obviously you weren't on that side, but you can see why a lot of people would hope Jack would win.
Well, yeah, I mean he's got the tools, and
Yeah.
I've always known he had the tools. It's just I just thought this was a decent size step up in competition.
It was,
And I just thought Valiev's striking would give him some more problems than it did. He did very well at just pushing the pace, coming forward, landing his leg kicks, using his 1-2, and then the third round catching him, numerous times. He's got some power in his hands. His striking is still kind of subpar, but it's basic. That's what you get from a grappler, but it's basic but effective. He's got power. He lands heavy punches. He's got a good high kick. He's got good body kicks. He mixes it up very well. And then his grappling is his bread and butter. His grappling was really good. Even in against Valiev, who's really tough to hold down, who's tough to submit. So, being able to get him down, control him for a bit, he did well. And I think, he's definitely a top 15 opponent, top 15 fighter right now, should be.
yeah.
And he should crack the top 10 in no time.
Well, they both got back up, which I thought was pretty cool, or interesting thing to see, because for a minute there it was a pretty tight matchup. It wasn't like you said until the third round where things kind of got away. But I mean, even the little Twitter things that come up were scoring the card for or the fight for either guy. Going into the third, I thought the odds were a little off because it had Shore as a pretty large favorite. I thought it was closer. I thought it was 1-1 going into the third, but overall,
which it was.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I thought it was a great fight, and it was kind of a cool fight to have on the prelims, just because it got me excited for, everything else.
Yeah, I mean, everything else to follow was, Paul Craig's submission, Pavlovich's knockout, Mako Amirkhani's anaconda choke, and just like the finishes just came full force after that.
Yeah, the Americani thing, man. I was not expecting that. I was like,
The reason why I was not expecting it because I would assume Mike Grundy's better than that to get caught. And the only thing you have to defend when going in for a takedown, because that's what he's known for. That's what he's going to do. You're good at it yourself. You should know how to get out of it. You already said you're going to be able to defend it, and you didn't. Like, he jumped on it immediately. Like, I don't know how you don't drill that tirelessly day in, day out, knowing that's the only way he's going to beat you. Because on the feet, he's not going to beat you. He's not going to beat you for long periods of time either because he doesn't have the cardio. So you just jumped into his wheelhouse, gave your neck, and that was it.
Yep. Yeah, I thought it was weird too. Like I like it when they show the families like before the fight, like they did with they did it with one of the females, McKenna maybe. Let's see. Yeah, they did it with McKenna, but they also did it with Mike Grundy, and that was kind of devastating because it was like Mike Grundy, but like with 200 extra pounds. And then like his mom and his dad were like almost crying as he's walking to like the octagon.
Well,
and then,
you know the backstory, of course.
I don't. What's the story?
Well, his dad is terminally ill. That's why he's there.
Oh my God. Okay, now I feel like an asshole. you can edit this part out, but I thought well, okay, it makes more sense that they would show that, but
that's why he was there. Yeah, it's pretty much. I hope it's not the last time he gets to see his son fight. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's what it made it that much more devastating because it showed them, and I'm like, damn, dude, he literally lost to like the one thing he said he wasn't going to let happen.
Right.
At least, McKenna didn't have a great showing either, but at least she fought. It made it that loss that much more depressing.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm like, oh man. I mean, I think things were just stacked up against him. He was going through probably a lot during this camp.
Yeah.
With everything behind the scenes. But man, it's tough because I thought he was going to give. I just didn't think he was going to get caught like that.
Yeah.
In something that he knew that's how he's not gonna. That's the only way he was going to lose. And
well, we did mention both. Well, I think I mentioned it. You're like, that's a good idea because I'm the brains behind this operation. But
yeah, that's right.
It was basically bet Grundy after round one because if Americani does anything, he'll look good in round one.
Right.
So if you listened, which I hope you do, you saved your money. So so it is what it is. But ultimately I was just ready for the main card.
Yeah, and then it jumped right into it. I mean, Jai Herbert, Ilia Topuria, minus 500 favorite, almost gets deaded in the first round. What? What the hell?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that fade. Because
but would you fade him against Patty is the question.
I would. I think Patty could probably get it done. I feel like he gets in his head. Jai Herbert, we said it last time, he is no slouch. Like he looked good. It's just that he fights these cannibals, like these dudes that are just like ready to eat. And he did it. He knocked him out. It was fucking beautiful. And then he called out the right guy.
Yep. I just don't know if they're gonna make it happen though. I don't know.
I think they're both, on that, they're both of their stars are going up. It would be smart to do it later because I don't see either one of them losing anytime soon, depending on the matchup, obviously.
I just think I think it's going to be on Patty's terms. It's really going to be up to whether Patty wants to do it or not. If Patty says no, then it's no. Ilia, I feel like would make more of a name for himself if he gets a win versus than when Patty were to fight him. I mean, Patty's already a big name.
Yeah.
There would have to be a big paycheck in order for them to make that matchup, pretty much.
Yeah. I don't know. It was. We'll see. I would be excited either way.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a cool way to start the card. It was expected.
Right.
It's basically exactly what happened last time. Whenever Jai fought Trinaldo, he looked good in round one, gets deaded in round 2, or I don't know, maybe that was round 3, but he basically just gets murdered.
Right.
And then, and I mean, I don't know, dude. Ilya's still pushing. I like that he called. Basically, I wanted him to have a good performance. That way he could call out Patty.
Right.
Uh,
And which he did.
Which he did, but I mean, in his broken English, if he wants to be a name, he has to, put it together on the mic. Like, it is what it is. That's just the name of the game. You got to market yourself in English as well as your native tongue.
He's getting better at it, from the beginning. But he's putting things together. He's 12-0 right now, knocking dudes out. He's got some power for a dude that's only 5'7". It's crazy.
That's what I was thinking, because I was thinking he was taller, and I was like, that's freaking wild. Like, because like imagine going to like a signing or something, or like a photo op, and you're like
twice the size.
You got to bring like a booster seat, bro. Like, that's weird. Or some like just, oh, I got some textbooks in my car. Let me go grab them. Like, that's how some of these dudes be acting. Or the ones that just sit, like the guys that just sit. You're like, oh yeah, I know why you're sitting. It's because I'm 5'11" and a half. You don't
want to look so little next to me.
Yeah, it's weird, but I'm just kidding. That's not how it is. But yeah, like he seems excessively strong, and he's good on the ground. I mean, we called this though. This is both of us agreed this was what was going to happen, and it was the perfect start to the card.
Yeah, and then we get into the core of the main card, when you're getting all the hometown favorites coming up, like Molly McCann, who came in with the spinning back elbow knockout of Carolina in the 3rd round. Insane. Patty Pimblett, his submission. Arnold Allen, his knockout in the 1st round. That's his first finish in the UFC. And then ending it all with Tom Aspinall's straight arm lock in round 1. Insane.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting that from Aspinall. Arnold Allen, holy shit. Like, that was wild. Like, that was insane.
Calvin Kattar and Arnold Allen. Who do you got that one?
I thought that was a weird call out. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it makes sense. And Arnold Allen is that type of guy. Like, he knows his place. But
like, he doesn't want to jump to the top. He's like, let me get somebody in the top 5.
Yeah.
Let me beat him. Then I'll get somebody maybe for the, the number 1 contender. Like, come on, man. Just shoot your shot. Shoot your shot.
I thought it was odd, because if there was any time that he could have shot his shot or shooted his shot, whatever, I would have thought that would be the time. Dude is humble as hell. Yeah. Obviously, he wanted to talk about his neighbor a little bit more, so maybe that's where his head was at. But I don't know, man. Like, I feel like Dan Hooker is a big name, like as far as the way that he handled him. And I mean, dude, Poirier couldn't put him away, and you did in seconds. Right. So yeah, the time was now. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good fight. It'll be a great fight, because I know that they'll set that up. But yeah, I don't know who I would, recency, I would go with Arnold Allen. I would have to probably put pen to paper and think about it a little bit more and see what the odds are. But after that performance, I think it's easy.
Yeah, I would have to go with Allen in that too. I mean, I just feel like he's a more well-rounded fighter. I think he's on a bigger trajectory right now.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's his time to finally get his shine and get his chance, at a championship. But we'll see when that comes down. We'll dig into the tape. But I'm very excited for that fight. But Patty Pimblett, he got rocked again and came back, got the submission. I knew it was round 1. It was getting dicey, but he got it. He got it.
That judo throw, that was pretty cool. I was like, I didn't expect him to get rocked, but I was just like, whatever. And then, but I was ultimately just kind of waiting for him to recover. I was like, okay, well, how is he going to get out of this? And then he did. Like,
he did. Like he always does.
Yeah, with super ease too. But like, I don't know, Vargas, he's pretty crafty. Like, it was kind of showcasing that a little bit, but Patty was, I don't know, he was Patty, and I was here for it, and I was glad, that he won. I was glad he won in, the way he did, But I'm ultimately just more curious to see what happens next. He said he wants to rest. I mean, that's the right move to make. He tore his something.
LCL, I think.
Yeah, his LCL. I mean, cool. Like you fucking did it, dude. Like, let's go.
Man, that's exactly kind of how I thought it was going to happen. I knew Vargas was going to land some heavy shots because, he is the more powerful fighter. And, Patty's his head is just in the center line, always straight up. He's always there to get hit. It's just what he does. And plus, all that huge head of hair is just like an easy target. Like it's just like prime. Okay, I know where to hit, where the hair is at, and then they're always able to connect. But I knew once he hit the mat, it was pretty much over because he's levels above Vargas on the mat, and it showed. It showed.
Yeah.
He was being methodical. He was waiting for the right times. He was able to get up, and then the judo throw, and then that was all she wrote. I mean, he transitioned from side control to mount to back within, I don't want to say like 7-8 seconds, something crazy like that. And then once he got the back, he knew, he was like, this is over. It's mine. And then he was talking to him while he was choking him out.
Yep.
Yeah. So he felt confident, and I like betting on confident fighters, and he's one of the most confident fighters you can ever bet on.
Well, yeah. Speaking of that, that they asked Aspinall after he won, why did you think you could do this, and why did you think you could win, or what led you to winning? And he's like, my confidence, like that's it. Like he goes, that's all I needed. I just needed me, my team, and my confidence, and that's what got it done. Which, again, like I know we're kind of jumping around now, but I thought Volkov looked decent until he didn't. We kind of harped on the fact that Volkov doesn't do bad against wrestlers. I mean, Aspinall took him down twice, but he also did it in points where Volkov was striking. He used his forward motion against him, and that was I don't know that it looked very beautiful, especially in comparison to Curtis Blades,
right.
which that's all Blades does. So I don't know. I guess Aspinall called out your boy, Mr. Shuey, but what do you think about that matchup?
Oh man, I feel like you have to take Aspinall because he's a bigger fighter. He's a more athletic fighter. He's a faster fighter. He's a more skilled fighter. But Tai Tuivasa's got that. He's got those, those big gloves.
Yeah,
and he can really lay it on anybody. I mean, he can knock out anybody. So you really can't count him out. But skill for skill, Aspinall is better than Tuivasa. Period.
I would bet Aspinall probably up to minus 220, 250.
Yeah.
Just because I'm that confident. But obviously puncher's chance. Tai Tuivasa, I feel like I like the guy. I just also feel like he's very one-dimensional. He has a chin, and his mitts, but Aspinall, obviously he knows what he's doing. And I feel like if it goes to the ground, Tuivasa's not getting back up.
I mean, who was the last grappler that Tuivasa faced? He hasn't faced one in a minute. And the last one he did, he got grounded out.
Yeah, which I think would be the case.
Right.
And Aspinall's smart enough, and he has the IQ to know how to handle him. Just like he came into this Volkov fight with the perfect game plan. I just expected it to be a little bit closer. Obviously I was on the wrong side of that, but it is what it is.
Right. I mean,
I didn't lose too much.
Right. I mean, we can only do so much. We put in the time. I mean, I was on the fence with Aspinall and Volkov all week. I just felt Volkov looked in, the best shape he has in a while. And it's something that kind of swayed me towards his way. And I felt the experience edge, the cardio edge, the craftiness, the veteran, being in the spot before. But, Aspinall really, he surprised a lot of people, a lot of his doubters, and showed that he's title contender right off the bat. Right now, he's a title contender for sure.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's really no other thing to say about it. Before we, I guess, wrap up, do you want to talk about the Gunnar Nelson Sato fight?
Do we really need to? I don't know. Do we really need to talk about how Gunnar couldn't put away Sato for 15 minutes when he had his back for like at least 12 of those minutes?
I'm excited to see who Gunnar faces next because if they can land a punch, if they can land one punch, I'm probably going to put a little money on them. Sato seemed like he was scared to throw the entire fight, and it was just an odd showcase. I mean, it was weird. The whole thing was odd. Like Gunnar was never really looking for the finish. He just seemed very comfortable, but comfortable to the point that he just looked sleepy. It was weird.
Yeah, I don't know. He looks like a different fighter now. I don't
He
know.
still
I
does
don't
the
know.
bouncy thing, but that was
Right.
it.
He didn't do anything with it, you know. But I don't know. It was definitely one of the most lackluster fights on the entire card. And there was a card that had 9 finishes. You know, right?
Yeah.
9 out of 12. So, I mean, you have to do pretty bad for you not to have any type of recognition on this type of card.
Yeah, and so that kind of shows you that obviously we know the bonuses went to everybody that finished, so he doesn't get a bonus. So hopefully maybe that'll put some fire, or maybe Molly McCann can share some of that fire and he'll look for a finish next time.
We can only hope, right?
Yeah.
But it was a great fight card, top to bottom, and I'm really looking forward to what's next. UFC Fight Night Blades versus Chris Dawkins. That's gonna be a great fight in Columbus, Ohio. Got some good fights there. Askarov taking on Kai Kara France. We got Neil Magny against Max Griffin. Mark Casey against Slava Claus. Slava Claus is back. I love that guy. He's so good. But yeah, great fight card on tap next week. And we will be back next week as well, recapping UFC Fight Night, Curse Blades, and Chris Dawkins. But we need you guys to go to the Vegas Odds YouTube channel, give this video a like, and subscribe. And we will see you all next week.
Hey, hold on.
What?
Hold on. So if you guys leave any comments, I will respond to them. So if you want to leave a comment and tell me how bad I am at doing this, do it in the comments below and I will respond. That's also too, if you want to give me some betting advice, some bank advice, maybe some beard trimming advice, just let me know. I'm looking forward to all of your comments on the Vegas Odds YouTube channel. This is Garrett Kerman and Jessie Hobson signing out. We'll see you next time.